Today, Top 30 is the only company in the world able to design, produce, set up and manage a top-level competition. Everything within the same company. Everything with the trustworthiness and professionalism that an official competition requires. Everything. Top 30. Top 30.
Well, hello and welcome back to Versi. We are getting things ready over here in the auditorium to start things off of our second section of coverage this evening, and that will be with this, the women's lead final. The women's lead final, guys, in just a few moments' time. Hopefully we're all excited and getting psyched in the chat rooms. Well, welcome back if you are joining us. My name is Daniel Finn. Any questions you might have, do send them in to us. And what a incredible set of finals we've already had this evening. Very, very emotional moments there as the para-athletes came out to take their medals as well. And we're about to start things off with the women's lead final. Any ideas you may have, any thoughts or opinions on that, do send them in to us. I am going to start things off now with the next question of the competition that we are running over on the Facebook page. Well, I say we, the IFSC are running on their Facebook page. You can find them on IFSC in Facebook. And the next question, the third question, is now up on there, and that is thus. Give us the final order podium positions of paraclimbing Final 2 B1 male. You have all just watched it live on the feed. Give us the final order podium positions of paraclimbing Final 2 B1 male. Get over onto Facebook and do that for your chance of winning some of the World Championship rope used by the belayers on the athletes. We're about to see some of it put to use. And that is from Beal, and it's the Diablo rope there as well. And I hope you are all psyched. Anderson in the chat room saying the men's finals were so amazing. I can only agree with you on that one there. The bouldering final was just sensational. And then also the paraclimbing final as well. Two great finals there to kick us off this evening. And we are now about to move into our next final. Well, here we are, guys. This is our start list. This is our start list for the female boulder finals, actually. So we'll bring that up for you in just a second. Good evening, Ashley. Nice to see you. And good evening as well to somebody saying that they were with me in Singapore just recently at the World Youth Championships. That was a fantastic final as well. It just keeps getting better and better. If you do sign into the chat room, do give yourself a handle. Give yourself a name. It's nice to know who I'm talking to when we are chatting to you in the chat rooms. We are going to be starting, I was told, at 20 past, so that is very, very soon. Here is the start list for you guys of the female lead finals. Kicking things off for us there, Charlotte Durif, moving out to show us how it's done. She's the lowest qualifier coming through from the semi-finals, but she is here now. Then we have Evgenia Malamid of Russia coming out. Matilda Soderlund of Sweden. I was chatting to her coach, Carlos, earlier today. Any of you supporting her from Sweden, do give us a shout out. Let us know how you're all doing. Then we move on to Helene Janicot from France. And then Angela Eiter, Momoka Oda, Johanna Ernst and Kim Jain. That is our final 8, guys. These are the girls that are about to come out. And show us a final that we want to see. This is going to get more and more excited as we move through the day. As I said before, do remember, guys, when you come into the chat room, give yourself a name. Let us know who we're talking to on the other end here, and let us know how excited we all are. There is Tomotun saying happy Swede here. Go Matilda. She has been fantastic. Matilda Soderlund, absolutely fantastic. All the way through this competition, and she joins us here at the female leads finals. Remember as well, after we finish with this, we are going to come right back to you with the speed finals as well. The first speed final, which will be the speed women's final. Remember, certain names popping up time and time again there. It's going to be great to see some of them coming back, like Yulia Levochkina. Definitely one to watch out for. We saw her break the world record 3 times in Chamonix earlier this year. She broke it 3 times and did not medal. Now, how bizarre is that? She broke the world record 3 times, one after another, and then came 4th due to having a bad run in the finals. A message and a shout out there from SB up in Glasgow. Matilda, a friend of your daughter, so you're supporting her there as well in Glasgow. That's great. I popped up to Glasgow a couple of years back, actually. So it's nice to see you guys supporting us there. And also Mike in the chat room showing some support for Matilda as well. Well, welcome, guys. How are we all doing? I tell you what, just before we go into the main final, why not, as a special treat, why don't we just do something completely random, something that you guys are really just not used to getting at all, while we wait for our athletes to come out, something that is rare, I think I would say, on IFSC.tv. Let's have a dance fun fact. We're just waiting for our athletes to come out on the wall now. So I hope you guys are all braced and ready and strapped in as we move into this, the lead final. Well, just briefly before Christopher gets started, yes, let's have a dance fun fact. And there it is. Right, here we are. More than 15,000 people were beheaded by the guillotine. More than 15,000 people were beheaded by the guillotine. And the guillotine was last used in 1977. Wow. I've got Graham Alderson next to me actually going, wow. So there you are, there's a dance fun fact to start things off as we return to our resident beatboxer. Graham, what do we think of our beatboxer down here on the ground?
I'm sure he's very good at what he does, not my thing at all, I'm afraid, Dan. I'm more of a TMS man myself.
Again, wise words from Graham Alderson, always wise words. So yeah, guys, you're saying that was a morbid fact. It was a morbid fact, but don't worry, the atmosphere is only going to continue to grow more and more intense and more exciting as we move towards this, our lead final. I'm hoping to be joined very shortly by Sheila McCarran. I know she's very busy as she is the announcer here at Bercy as well. Well, that is Christopher coming down to the ground to introduce our athletes. So not long now before we get things started, I can tell you now, the lead women's difficulty here is an 8B plus, possibly even an 8C. That is coming from Adam, who is the head route setter for the lead, and he's going to be hopefully coming and joining me as we move through the coverage for this later on today. He's saying it's very much like the semis, but a different style. The semis was all about stamina, and the upper section of the wall here is harder, more athletic, and at the top there are even some crimps. So won't be very long, and I will just recap that for you briefly before we start. I'll now hand over to Christopher to introduce the athletes here on the wall. I'll see you in a few moments, guys.
Pour représenter son pays, la Russie, c'est la chef de l'équipe de difficulté russe. Applaudissements s'il vous plaît pour la Russe, Evgenia Malamid. Troisième finaliste, elle est très très jeune, elle sort de la catégorie junior. Elle a fait un carton dans sa jeunesse sur les Coupes d'Europe. Elle a 2 finales à son actif cette saison. Elle vient de Suède, c'est la plus grande du circuit. Applaudissements pour l'incroyable Matilda Soderlund, Sweden. Quatrième finaliste, elle est 3e du classement mondial. Elle nous a fait l'honneur de sa première victoire en Coupe du Monde sur le territoire briançonnais. S'il vous plaît, applaudissements pour mademoiselle Helene Janicot, France. Elle a remporté pendant 2 ans d'affilée beaucoup de Coupes du Monde. Elle a plusieurs podiums à son actif. Elle arrive de l'équipe autrichienne, il va falloir la prendre au sérieux. Applaudissements, s'il vous plaît, pour mademoiselle Evgenia Eiter. Sixième finaliste et membre de l'équipe japonaise, une victoire cette saison, 2 podiums, 2e du classement mondial. Applaudissements pour mademoiselle Momoka Oda, Japon. C'est de celle qui vient que je voulais parler quand je disais qu'elle avait été championne d'Europe ici en difficulté. Applaudissements pour la jeune Autrichienne, elle aussi qui va falloir prendre vraiment au sérieux ce soir. Mademoiselle Johanna Ernst. Et la petite dernière, incroyable, 5e du classement mondial cette saison, 2e la saison dernière, 2 podiums déjà cette saison. Elle était 2e au championnat du monde. Applaudissements pour l'incroyable coréenne Kim Jain-il. Allez, s'il vous plaît, messieurs, dames, de ce moment, soyez-vous les meilleurs dans la tête de nos graveuses. Merci, big applause. Allez, on va accueillir, this is the observation time. Good luck, ladies. On y va. François, le moment de l'observation et on va envoyer. Alors je vais présenter avant. Après l'observation, on verra je vais présenter d'abord nos juges qui vont être responsables et présidents du jury de la difficulté.
Well, guys, we now enter the section where our athletes are allowed their observation time on the wall. So these guys are going to be having their observation time on the wall. Our 8 finalists for the lead competition. Now, getting some time to have a little look. It's always interesting to see who pairs up with who on this one. It's more often than not we always see the Japanese athletes with binoculars, which is I think a good one. It's a good idea to have something like that when they're down at the bottom of the wall. It is extremely high. And it gives them the opportunity to have a much closer look at the holes higher up on the wall. It's interesting, there are the French athletes moving closer together now. The two Austrians staying very, very close there, Johanna Ernst and Angela Eiter.
Helene Janicot's very often got binoculars as well. You can just see them around her neck. Charlotte's got hers as well. It really does help for the upper reaches. In fact, I've invested in a pair for my daughters because they're going to be starting to do the longer runs as well for this coming season. Especially when you've got overhangs and what have you, you really need to get a feel for what you're going to be hanging off and moving on to. If you've got a doubt about the first handhold after a roof, that could just be an issue. But they're taking it all in now. Dan, have you had a chance to be out front and have a look at it for yourself?
I have been down to the wall and had a little bit of a gander at it, and I've also been chatting with Adam as well, who's the head route setter here, Polish route setter, and what phenomenal routes he has set so far in this competition. The male semi-finals earlier today was just unbelievable. If you want to get over and have a look at that, get over onto the YouTube channel for IFSC and have a look there. You will be able to have a look at that one as well. Well, welcome back, Sheila.
Hi, did you miss me?
I indeed did. You've been off and being busy, no doubt.
Yep, I was announcing the podiums for the paraclimbing and for the men's bouldering. We had an appeal, as you may know, for the paraclimbing, so that put us back a bit on the timing, but we've made it back up. So you were talking about the climbers who pair up, but not surprisingly, the two Austrians are chatting to each other. I see Evgenia Malamid and Matilda Soderlund are talking together. Jain Kim at the moment is out on her own, as is Momoka Oda. Oh, Jain just going up to have a little chat with her to see what she thinks about it.
I think Johanna Ernst is one of my favourite climbers.
Yeah, I noticed that in Briançon. She just shines when she's interviewed. She's very friendly, very smiley, but obviously extremely motivated and committed. I'm a little concerned because I felt that at the presentation, but it is maybe just about the presentation, and once she gets onto the wall she'll be fine, but I felt that Helene Janicot was looking very nervous. And I think you have to have been on a holiday on another planet not to know my personal feelings about Helene. She's a close friend, and I really want her to do well.
Well, Sheila, while we wait for these athletes to begin being moved back into the isolation area of the wall, why don't I say to you, just briefly, as you are fluent in French, just say hello to the French audience that might be joining us now as well.
No problem. Bonjour tout le monde, les Français qui ne peuvent pas être à Bercy mais qui nous rejoignent sur Internet. Bienvenue à cette retransmission. Les images sont superbes, je pense que vous êtes d'accord avec moi. On vient de présenter les finalistes dames donc pour cette épreuve de difficulté. Tout à l'heure, on aura la vitesse aussi. Matilda Soderlund n'a pas l'air super convaincue par un move au milieu là. Nous avons deux Françaises en lice. La première à sortir, parce que ce sera dans l'ordre inversé de la qualification, on aura d'abord Charlotte Durif. Et plutôt au milieu, on aura Helene Janicot. Et la dernière à grimper, parce qu'elle a mieux qualifié, si je ne m'abuse, c'est Jain Kim. Donc on a plusieurs nationalités représentées. Il y a la Suède avec Matilda, Momoka Oda pour le Japon, les deux Autrichiennes, les deux Françaises et j'en ai oublié une, la Coréenne, Jain Kim. Voilà.
Well, thank you very much, Sheila,
Et
for saying hello.
Evgenia Malamid, pardon, pour la Russie, bien sûr.
Thank you for that. It's interesting to see now Johanna Ernst, Kim Jain and Matilda Soderlund pairing up and forming a trio as they go through the route that we're going to see here. Three athletes, three different nations, and no doubt some language barriers there as well, I would imagine.
Do you not remember the final in Briançon when we had Ramon, who only speaks Spanish, paired up with a Korean to have a look at the route, and we wondered at the time, what on earth are they saying to each other? Well, obviously a lot of hand gestures involved as they walk through the route from underneath. Christopher, the French speaker who keeps the crowd on their toes during these competitions, he calls it the tectonic, like that sort of dance craze there was at a time.
I like to call it miming. I think it's like this is
sort
the
of a
point.
Marcel Marceau time, is it?
Yeah, this is where we get our athletes. Look, there you are. You can see some of our athletes showing us some mime. There's Johanna Ernst. She's miming how to use binoculars, and just next to her as well, one of the French athletes there, just miming how hands work.
Yes. How do I turn off that light bulb? I screw it round.
That's what it is.
That was it, I think.
No, this is something that would you say is something that does definitely help them walking through and actually doing the gestures in a smaller way prior to getting on the wall. We see it in the speed climbing constantly.
Yeah, which I always think is hilarious because they never vary their route. You know, I don't want to be cruel to the speed climbers. I really admire what they do, but the lead climbers, when they come out to look at the wall, they have no clue what's going to be thrown at them. And yet these speed climbers, effectively on an always identical wall, they still run through the movements, including the feet gestures. They don't just do the hands. Yep. No, it definitely helps, and they'll be back in the isolation area, more or less running through that whole series again and again until they come out to do it for real. I know some people go back and draw the route to try and reproduce the route on paper to memorize it that way.
Well, it's definitely something we always see them doing. We are getting ready as the judges now come out and take their seats at the side of the wall to make sure that all the athletes are competing fairly, not breaking any rules, and also to make sure that the scoring is done correctly. They sit down at the side just there now, and there you can see the crowd in the background and how full it is. Sheila, you've been out there on the ground as well personally. You've been moving amongst this crowd, and actually I went down there a few months ago to chat to Adam, our head route setter. What is the atmosphere like out there at the moment?
Electric is the word that immediately springs to mind. Everybody was blown away. What was, I think, more impressive than the noise that the crowd was able to make, especially for the French power climber who won the gold medal, obviously, which was special for the home crowd, was the silence.
That was very, very impressive, wasn't it? You're listening to nothing from 9,000 mouths.
Yeah, I mean, there was really such a racket before, and Christopher said, shh, and that was it. That was magic. And then an explosion of everything when the climber came down in each case. I really was impressed by that. But everybody's motivated. I saw quite a few of the climbers from in and around the Lyon area that I recognized. Some of them just lying on the floor looking up at the lead wall because otherwise you get a really sore neck, such as the overhang. That's probably the most comfortable position to look up at it, to be lying down with a solid support behind your neck. Not easy to walk around the hall though, for that. Bodies strewn all over the place.
Well, as we were saying, the incline on this wall does make it quite difficult on such a short stage to be able to get back and really see the top of the wall. I remember during the paraclimbing first final, we had to have actually somebody protecting the guide that was guiding one of the paraclimbers up the wall because he was progressively moving further and further towards the edge of the stage, trying to stay with the climber as they were making their way up the wall.
Well, at Briançon last summer, we had an injury, but it wasn't that serious, but we nearly lost somebody in the veteran championships in the evening. He stepped back so far, he came off the stage, and thankfully there was like what used to be a flower garden thing, a concrete container for flowers, which kind of broke his fall because, as you know, the stage in Briançon is quite high.
It's interesting that you're saying that the concrete broke his fall.
Well, it was just under the level of the stage rather than him fall all the way to the ground. That's what I was trying to evoke.
Well, there is the support from that crowd there. These images being provided by French TV, but we're bringing you everything live on the web now. Welcome to Bercy Stadium here in Paris. My name is Daniel Finn. I'm joined by Sheila McCarran, who is with me now as we move into the female lead finals, and those are our all-important 8 placements that we are about to see move out onto the wall. Any ideas that you might have, do send them in to us. I hope you guys are psyched. Any questions you might have, do send those in to us as well, and we'll try our best to give you some answers.
I said to someone yesterday that now my excitement levels are measured in becquerels. It's just been so long coming. We've been talking about Bercy for ages and really looking forward to getting here. I actually woke up this morning thinking, what if I'm disappointed? Gosh, what a stupid woman I can be sometimes. This has just been amazing so far. The bouldering was great, the paraclimb has been great. There's nothing we've seen this weekend that won't lead us to think that the ladies' lead final will be great as well. So stay tuned.
And this is us asking you to stay tuned as the lights try to change, and do indeed change as we welcome our first athlete. Look at the coverage of and the stage show that is being put on here as well. Talk about pressure, Sheila, to put on a good show for these climbers behind the stage.
No pressure at all,
Especially after the men's bouldering earlier today as well, and the performances that they gave. This crowd is 100% ready to go. They are roaring and ready to be let loose.
Well, you have to remember there's 2 French women in this final. There were no Frenchmen in the bouldering, which was a bit of a disappointment. Obviously, we thought that Guigui would be in there, but he missed out very narrowly, as we've already explained. So the crowd really wants to boost the French girls and get them up there. But basically, you know, they just want a great competition, and I think we're guaranteed that we're going to have that.
Well, the difficulty on the route is indeed an 8B+, also possibly up to an 8C. And those are Adam's words, the head route setter. So we'll wait to see as that goes through, and hopefully I will be joined by Adam later on as well for a brief interview about how he's finding the routes here as well. He gave us an incredible set of semi-finals. What many of us would call a perfect route. Just one athlete topping it there, and that was Ramon Julien Poublanc. Earlier we saw that happening.
Bit of conjecture in the chat room about if this is an 8B+ or what it is. Well, I think in a championship situation, it's really fairly academic what we class it as. It's all about who gets higher than everybody else. Nerves can take their toll. All sorts of things can happen. It's a one-off deal. It's not how you do over the whole season. It's today and it's not tomorrow. I'd like to just mention something as Charlotte's coming out to start her route, because I'm sure I'll forget later on otherwise. One of the other things I noticed when I went up to where I do the commentary for the podiums from is that when the para-climbing was on, the entire Japanese squad were out front. Sachiyama was there, Momoka Oda was there, they were all there to watch their para-climber in action. I thought that was great, really. I see Banana Split saying, what a feeling, I wish I were there. I tell you, you're missing something, man, it's fantastic. But we'll try and bring you a flavour of the atmosphere. I'm sure you'll hear the crowd, especially for this first climber, who's a French girl, Charlotte Durif. She's from the Macon area. Very experienced climber. As a youth climber, she won every category that was possible. She's well known for her slow pace of climbing. These longer routes, obviously testing her ability just to gauge the right amount of effort when she should take her rests, and what have you.
Well, a lot of very interesting shaped features on this wall. It's a very bizarre setup, but very interesting as well. I can tell you that she's currently got a hand on the 8th hold, and there is a total of 52 altogether. So, like the men's, another long route here from Adam. I think that might be becoming a trademark of his routes.
It's possible, and I think it's fair to say that's the way the lead World Cup was going towards the end of the season as well. I keep talking about Briançon because I was actually there physically, and it's very clear in my mind. That was a very long route, a very snaking route that went all the way over and then all the way back.
And down, actually.
And down.
Going lower on the wall at one point and then up again.
Yesterday's girls' semi-final, I felt there was a similarity between the two routes.
Well, that's her with a hand on the 10th/11th hold. Now she's secured it with the second hand. It's another double. Another thing that Adam seems to be quite fond of.
Yeah, these double holds, and sometimes he tries to make them into pinches, and sometimes it's just kind of a moment where maybe they're going to have to take the other one and use it to turn and go off in a different direction.
Well, we are here with Charlotte Durif, 22 years old, born in 1990, world ranked 6th this athlete. World Cup ranking currently this year is 6th. Last year, the World Cup ranking ended up in 9th, but the year before, again, was 6th. So, holding the top 10 placement for the past 3 years now, Charlotte Durif.
Yeah.
And this year alone, some fantastic results. In Briançon, the reason you remember that one so well, Sheila, as well, is because she took the bronze there, took 3rd place. And also in Imst this year, she came 5th, so made it through to a final as well. So no strangers to finals, used to dealing with the pressure. Let's see how we get on as we now move up onto the wall.
Very strong mental attitude, Charlotte. There's no problem about that. However, she is doing some pretty heavy-duty studies, and I know that there was a while there where she was finding it difficult to juggle the two, but she still manages to figure very strongly on the circuit, and she's looking pretty good just up until now. There was a little slip of a foot earlier on, but she seems to have recovered from that, no problem.
Really interesting fact coming in from Rod now in the chat room about the head resetter here, Adam. Adam Postelenik is actually, he makes wooden climbing holds that are quite popular in Poland, in his home territory. Most of the holds are crimps and slopers, which is really interesting to hear. I'll have to ask him about that when hopefully he comes and joins me a little bit later as we move into the competition.
I can't help but thinking, what kind of friction can you get on a wooden handhold? There's a lot of grain to these handholds that they're using, even if the shapes are sometimes pretty uncomfortable. I always think of wood as being polished, so it doesn't seem to marry very well, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Well, this is Charlotte on the 27th hole, pausing and taking a moment there to assess how she's going to now bear off to the right. She has to start traversing around right the midsection, right at the middle section of the crux, the bulge in the middle of the wall there. She now has to start moving up and onto the 27th and 28th, which are those double, that kind of looks like a figure of 8, a blue figure of 8 just above her head. That's potentially the next hole for her. Sheila miming that it looks like
a bra.
A bra, basically, yeah. Nice to see some of you saying that the wall is beautiful. It is a beautiful wall. We had it in Chamonix earlier this year. We've got it now back here as well.
As with many sports, it's difficult to get a feel for the complete scale of this wall. You know, when you watch tennis and you think the guy's only got to move 10 centimeters to get the ball, but actually he's miles away. Because there's a perspecting and it shortens the court. Badminton's the same. Well, in climbing, well, this is a really good shot that gives you an idea of that overhang.
And the height.
Yeah, and the height. When you walk under it here, I think I mentioned yesterday, it feels quite oppressive. Oh, brilliant move.
And she sticks it. She sticks it. She's now moving on to the 31st and 32nd hold. Charlotte Durif proving that she's going to set the bar high here, guys. I think this could be another one. Let's hope that this doesn't become a too easy wall for them. I hope it's not going to be. It's an 8B plus, guys. And there is also the overhang coming up as well now, so I'm sure we're about to get into some really, really tough moves as she moves into that underhang.
I rather think that the interpretation that we should take from that is that Charlotte, and I know this to be a fact, was fairly disappointed to qualify in 8th position, and she wants to prove something here. So she's going to, being the first out, the time it takes her on the wall, when the other girls that are in isolation, they're going to think, gosh, she's really moved up here, she's really moved up here. Just like flashing the first boulder with the boys earlier on. Put the pressure on the rest of them and see what happens.
Absolutely, we were talking about it with the bouldering earlier today. Look at that shot with the audience in the background and her up at the top of that wall. Phenomenal coverage as well as we watch Charlotte Durif move on to the overhang now. And that was definitely one of the things we were talking about, the pressure that must be building in the ISO right now as the girls hear the screams from the front of house. And there's another interesting shot for you as well of the top of the wall there.
She was shaking her arms out just before this passage, trying to get rid of the lactic acid.
Look at that claw grip there she's having to use on that hold. Some really interesting holds here from Adam. She pops up there again now, and that is the 36th hold. Now the 37th, the two hands on that is another double hold. That makes it the 38th of 52, guys. A very good start, but still quite a way to go yet.
Yeah,
a long route.
Yeah. And Charlotte is very used to this kind of movement and this kind of feature, because at my club wall we have exactly that hold in a roof, and she's been down at ours. It's one of the longer halls in France, or the higher halls in France, working on her resistance, working on her endurance, and she's doing brilliantly here. Come on, Shah, allez Shah.
Absolutely incredible. She's now moving on to the 39th hold. Look at that. What an interesting hold there on the wall. I haven't actually seen that before. Used in a World Cup final. A lot of you are now talking in the chat room about the camera shots. As we lose Charlotte Durif there towards the end of it. And now I believe that was the 40th hold, Sheila, of 52.
Yeah, I think you're right. She really did very well there. She's thanking the crowd for their support, trying to explain with a gesture, you really pushed me up there, and I think that's a fair comment. Well, this really promises, this final section. It's going to be like watching, I think, the men's semis yesterday, when it was like they were going up hold by hold on that final section, and each one was getting just a little bit further than the previous guy.
That was brilliant.
It was really, the tension just was mounting as we went, and I'm just hoping that's what we're going to see tonight.
I'm really hoping that is the case. Adam has not let us down yet, and I'm praying that that's what's happening as we move through the finals, because that was the case yesterday in the semis. We got into that stage towards the end that every man that came out topped the man from before. They got higher than the previous athlete, and it just got more and more tense and more exciting as we move towards the end of the competition.
Take note of what you're saying, Basher. We're not actually responsible for the pictures that you see. We're responsible for the graphics. Someone else is providing us with the images, so we'll maybe get words to them to say that it would be quite good to zoom out just a little bit more so we can see the next move. But it's good, as you're saying, Alex, to see the close-ups as well. I think the coverage globally is pretty good. I hear lots of you saying that they think the route is nice. They're telling us, Lolo, that it's an 8+, an 8B+, sorry, but let's see.
Well, we are joined by our next athlete now. On this, our 8B+ wall after Charlotte Durif, I believe it was the 40th hold. I think probably achieving a 40+ there, because she was pushing up onto the 41st. I think that's roughly where it was on the wall. There are 52 on this wall. The next athlete to come out is Evgenia Malamid. She's 25 years old, world ranked 20th, but currently this year in 2012 she is 7th, so she's up on her rankings. 14th at Briançon earlier this year, so making it through to the semis but not the finals. But then in Imst just recently, just missing out on a podium position, taking the 4th place position there in Imst at the Lead World Cup.
That's right. Imagine if she had made a final at Briançon, she'd be much higher up in the World Cup rankings. Very strong climber. This is really the first year that I've noticed her as such, and been keeping an eye on her. She's very strong, as all the Russians are. As we know, the Russians are fans of the crimps, and someone in the chat room was saying that the route setters are keen on those, so this could well be a route that suits her climbing style. We'll need to see.
Well, I was talking to Adam about the doubt that was setting into him when we moved into the women's finals that route setters do face, because there is a shortage of female route setters around, and he was saying that, yeah, that's the biggest thing for him, that the fear of whether he's able to set a good route for female athletes, obviously being a man.
Yeah, but at the same time, the way the men set the routes has kind of obliged the girls to work on different types of moves, and when we see the power climbers such as Mina Markovic, and you know, she's adapted her style, I think, to the routes that have been set. So it would be interesting to have a set of female route setters just to see what they could come up with. Would it be more inventive? Would they be looking for, you know, more graceful movements? Would they be looking to keep the power movements up, or would they just have a completely different attitude to it? I don't know.
Well, there's an interesting point there from AVG in the chat room, saying it's a very physical route for big muscles. So I think that the girls get out of breath. So the smaller girls could have an advantage here. Kim Jain and Angela could score well here. Another moment from somebody in the chat saying, this is the best climbing experience online that I've ever had. Well, thank you for joining us. If you are joining us, my name is Daniel Finn, and I am joined by Sheila McCarran in the commentary booth at the moment. This on our 8B plus route with 52 holds as Evgenia Malamid makes her climb.
Rod, I could not agree with you more. I said as much earlier on the bouldering.
Well, here she is now, bearing around the left-hand side of the bulge in the middle of the wall, the crux in the wall, and round onto the right as well. Now, remember, guys, any questions you might have, do send them in to us. Do let us know whether you're enjoying the feed or not here at the World Championships in Bercy. There you can see what some of these holds look like a little bit closer up. We'll see some more interesting shots as we start to move along this wall here. There you can see 2 fingers.
Those actually hold better than you think, but she's moving quite easily so far up into this section. Starting to take a little bit of a rest before she engages onto the right-hand side of what we're seeing just now. That, on the other hand, does not hold very well. You see this heavy strapping on her shoulder.
I was going to say, yeah. Oh, now that is interesting.
That is interesting. She's going to be disappointed there, as you can see it.
Fantastic to see the professionalism in her, though, as she does get to the bottom of the wall. No strop there at all.
No.
That is a seasoned senior athlete showing you how to react at whatever stage you get down off the wall. She was obviously not going to be very happy with that, but still smiling at the bottom. Evgenia Malamid there.
Verka in the chat room. The speed final for the women will be following on directly from this lead final.
And that was very early on indeed, wasn't it, Sheila? I believe that was around the 30th hold.
Well, I take that as a real compliment, Jacob Lloyd. Thank you. It is a fine balance trying to discuss a sport where obviously the dead keen climbers who've been climbing for years are going to be tuning in, but also people who are just discovering the sport. And we do try and cater for all ages and tastes. If you've got any questions, any newbies in the climbing to ask us about why are they doing this way, what's that all about, by all means send them in. We'll try. Obviously we've got an eye on the climbing and an eye on the chat to see what your questions are, so if we miss them, keep asking.
Well, right now I have an eye on the next climber that is about to come out onto the wall. Now, this is the one that everyone has been talking about just recently. Matilda Soderlund, the 20-year-old athlete that is now moving up. Remember that in 2011, her World Cup ranking ended up in 68th place. And then from that, to now move up to 13th, just currently on the World Cup rankings. Because remember, guys, we've still got a lot more World Cups to bring you as we move through the year. She was 8th in Chamonix, so she made the final in Chamonix. She was 11th in Briançon this year as well, so not quite making the final there, but she has started to get used to those finals. And also a lot of results in the female junior category and the female youth A-lead. Some very high results in there as well. Of her top 12 best results, not one of them is below 11th, and that was at Briançon in the senior category. And in fact, most of them are in the mid-10s, as in from 4, 5, 6s. So you're looking at a very established younger climber now moving into the senior categories at only 20 years old and already making a name for herself over here. I was chatting to the head coach actually from Sweden earlier today, Carlos, a man that was actually born in Spain and lived in Spain, and now is the head coach for Sweden, and he's a very interesting man. I will try and talk to him as we go through the competition once more as well. But for now, let's offer some support to Matilda Soderlund as she starts to approach the point on the wall that we just saw Evgenia run into some problems with.
That's right.
Sheila, how do we think Matilda is looking so far?
I think she's looking incredibly relaxed. She's a rangy climber. She's much taller than the usual. Well, I say usual. I don't suppose there is a usual body shape, but we're used to some of the smaller climbers, and she is really head and shoulders, I think, is the expression, taller than most of the girls on the circuit. She's very good friends with Sasha Degulian, who is, I wouldn't say half her height, but significantly shorter. So where on some of the moves, some of the girls have to be very dynamic and really stretch to go and get the next hold. Perhaps coming out of the roof sometimes, that's usually a good judge of that. Matilda sometimes goes statically, but she definitely has a good reach. Now we need to see if that's going to hold her in good stead for this kind of lateral passage, and then in the final part. Beyond what we saw Charlotte achieve earlier.
Well, there she is on the bra-shaped hold as we were talking about earlier, Sheila.
Yep.
Now moving up onto the next section of the wall. She's currently holding the 30th hold. Actually, no, she's now moved over to the 32nd, which is about the point where we saw Evgenia just a few moments ago come off from the wall.
I think if I had a question about Matilda, it would be about her endurance on these longer routes. She has, I think, a very favourable strength-to-weight ratio. She's very light for her height. But perhaps for the endurance aspect, maybe she'll prove me wrong. I wait to see.
Well, there's some very interesting information coming in from Elisa at the moment, talking about the fact that she's done some research into the height of climbers for a school project and has an average for women to be around 5'6". Well, that's very, very interesting information indeed, Elisa. Actually, I'd appreciate some of that information myself for future commentary. So if there's any chance, do get in touch with me, and you guys as well, if you are joining us, get in touch and let us know whether you're enjoying the coverage. You can find me at @_Daniel Finn on Twitter. So drop me a line on there. I'd love to get some more of that information about the height of climbers. It's something that we do struggle with because there's not much to be found. It's hard to find the exact height for some of the climbers. Heaviest and lightest climbers from Amund. I can say that Adam Ondra is one of the lightest climbers in the men's category. Kim Jain is also one of the lightest climbers coming out onto the wall today. But as we saw earlier with the men's lead as well, the muscle mass.
That's very nicely done.
Can be all over the place. I mean, Sean McCall, a very heavy muscle mass on Sean McCall, and also some of the other climbers like Magnus Midtboe. But then look at Adam Ondra, a very spindly climber, but the weight then changes. We're now watching Matilda Soderlund move on to the overhang. This is a really fantastic climb now. She's about to start equaling where we saw our first athlete come out to, and that was the 38th hold.
I'm sure none of you have escaped the fact that she is a stunningly beautiful woman as well. But let's stick on the climbing. She's not happy with that kind of 3 holds in one thing that we saw Charlotte gripping earlier. She hasn't got as high as Charlotte did.
Still a fantastic effort
Second
there.
position at the moment.
Lisa, talking about that research that she was doing on the average height of the female climber, 5'6". The survey was of 346 different climbers across Britain and into Scotland, and it seemed that the Scots were shorter overall and got 5'6" for women and 6 foot for men as an average.
But Ilsa, I think generally Scottish women are shorter. I'm considered to be rather tall for my race. Lots of wee old biddies going up and down the streets in Glasgow and where else, probably due to really rubbish diet actually, but no, there seems to be a received wisdom that Scottish women up until now have been shorter than the British national average, but it's changing as dietary habits are changing.
Well, what an incredible climb there from Matilda Soderlund, though. Very impressive at 20 years old. And we are now joined by our next athlete, and that roar from the crowd,
Would you
Sheila,
think she's French, Daniel?
could only mean one thing.
It's Helene Janicot, and she's just having a quick refresher look at the wall before she sets off. They have 45 seconds before they actually have to put their hands on a hold.
Well, as we move on to our next athlete coming out onto the wall, I am going to have to actually steal a mic briefly away from
No
Sheila.
problem.
You get to have a
No
little bit of a
problem.
rest there. Thank you, Sheila. And I'm going to pass that mic over to Adam Pustelnik of Poland, who is our head route setter here, who has come to join us now that I think you're feeling a little bit more relaxed, Adam, about how this final is going to work out.
Yeah, well, seeing the first climber, like in front of the public, the French climber, seeing her doing the places that you were afraid of, that there might be some things not maybe, you know, not very good for the girls, and seeing her doing like things that were made to give it like a good show, you know, seeing her turning towards the public, that is something that gives you a little bit the confidence that maybe it will work out, you know.
You were saying how that it's such a thing for route setting. It's that, like I was talking to you a few moments ago outside about the doubt that sets in as a route setter, especially with women's competitions for lead. What can you tell me about your experience of what you've aimed for with this route in particular for the women's finals?
I mean, especially when we've got the semi-finals working really, really well. Where like we didn't have any single equal score. We had a really nice, you know, selection for the next round. The aim for this round is to have, of course, a route which will select the girls in terms of having the best one winning, but a route that would be spectacular for the public. And well, when you aim for things like this, you take risks, you know, within the route. And these risks, especially with women, when there's men setting, are the risks of having more, you know, dynamic moves, which is really stressful in terms of seeing if girls are able to do it, because they have to take decisions really quickly to do these moves really quickly and not to hesitate too much, because if you hesitate too much, you lose power and you won't do that. So yeah, that's the biggest doubt about this route, you know, that it might be just, you know, might have too many like dynamic moves in fact, which is the one long in the middle. But as I've seen it working already twice, working really well, it is a relief, definitely. Yeah.
Well, we've seen none of the athletes actually push into the top section of the wall, which we were talking about earlier as well, the crimps. Can you tell us what you think it is that is cutting them off just over that overhang? What have you planned in there?
Well, it's still much more athletic, the roof, that there was in the semis. In the semis, they didn't have to go directly into the roof. You know, here they have to do a 180 turnaround in the roof, you know, and really hang on that one hand hold and pull from it. So that's what we didn't have before in the semis. So in terms of, that's the
37, 38, it's a double hold,
30,
yeah?
38, 39 in fact. You know, so once they're there, they're gonna get like physically just a little bit more tired. Let's see what Helene does here. She's hesitating a bit, but she has to go on quickly, and she's getting pumped, I can see.
She's definitely getting pumped. Can you...
Definitely getting pumped, and that's exactly the thing, you know, like...
Can you talk us through exactly what is happening here on Helene? What she's trying to do is she moves onto the crux.
She's trying to go through statically somehow through this, but she has just to pull and push from her feet, you know, do a quick move, yeah, and that's... Shit, that's...
Such an unfortunate moment there as we unfortunately lose her at that point on the wall, and that was at around the 32nd, I believe, moving on to the 34th hold.
That's the 30 going to 31. It's
31.
It's the same score as Evgenia Malamid, in fact, yeah.
So it's the same score there as Evgenia Malamid. Here we can see it again in the replay. As we were saying, yeah, that cut-off point that we're seeing with that turnaround at the higher section of the wall there, what can we expect to see as we do push into that top section there?
What I like, what I know from the route is that the holds up on the higher part, they are small, of course. They need to be small. Women are really good on crimps, but they are positive. You know, they go in a little bit. So I expect to have a fight up there. You know, until the very last move, which is a really a nice move as well. You know, but it's yeah, I'd expect to have a good fight, and as the girls go in there, to have a nice selection. You know, up there of really resistant route, which is quite long. How many holes?
52, yeah.
52,
and we've
yeah.
noticed this has become a thing. This has become a thing with you guys with the longer routes. Is it something you enjoy, setting the longer routes?
I mean, like here you try to take advantage of the fact that you can use the wall, you know, and you're trying to build up something which would be within the time limit, which would be possible, and still which would be nice to climb, you know, in terms of having something just a little bit longer than a normal route. They've been climbing short routes in the qualies. They've been climbing routes that had like 30 couple of moves. So
Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
I'm going to have to stop you there as we get onto our next climber.
Yeah,
I'd love to chat more, but thank you very much, Adam Pustelnik, the head route setter there for this competition, and what a phenomenal set of routes he has set for us. As we move on to our next athlete, the Austrian climber, Angela Eiter.
Yeah, just to recap on what we've just seen, obviously the crowd were behind her, but she just hesitated too long, didn't seem to be able to get her feet right. I couldn't really understand where she was having the problem with the move, and where she came off. Helene, obviously disappointed, wanted to do better than that. Perhaps too much pressure with the home crowd and all. I'll be talking to her in the week. I'm sure she'll be upset, but at the same time, great to be in this final, great to experience I think with time she will see it like that it was great to be here and experience this, and she is young.
That is the one thing that I want to stress here. We have to remember that Helene Janicot is only 18 years old, and currently world ranked 11th on the World Cup ranking this year, 2012. She's third, so she is powering into a career in climbing.
Right.
Very well respected. But for now, let us move back over onto the wall, onto our next athlete, Angela Eiter, who is out with us now, the 26-year-old athlete. So quite a jump there from the previous one to this. 18-year-old up now to 26 from Imst, world ranked 8th overall. And on the World Cup rankings for this year, she's actually 23rd.
Yeah, but Angela hasn't been doing all that many competitions. If you remember, she was a bit more selective about the ones she was going to do because she wanted to focus on Bercy, or so said the Austrian national coach anyway. There was someone in the chat room a minute ago was asking what happens if two climbers tie. No, it doesn't get decided on time in the first instance. There's a count-back system, so it goes back to see who was better in the semis or in the qualifiers, and if then they're exactly completely equal, yes, it does go down to time.
Well, here she is moving on to the bulge in the center of the wall. Hello, if you are just joining us, and if you're watching us on YouTube as well, do pop over onto ifsc.tv and join us here in the chat room. We do like talking to you all in the chat room. My name's Daniel Finn, and I'm joined here by Sheila McCarran.
I know there's a lot of noise in the hall, and a couple of you are saying that it's difficult to concentrate on maybe what we're saying because you can hear the French language in the background, but you understand, I'm sure, that it's a requirement to have someone to boost the crowd and get the atmosphere going, and Christopher is an expert in that field, so let's let him do his job. He's doing a great job. The crowd are loving this. Well, she certainly didn't want to hang around on those, and she made a quick zip around the corner.
Well, she's powering
Nailing
up now.
that
This is the
move
31st hold she's on at present, and this is where we saw a few moments ago the problems, actually for two of our athletes as well at this point on the wall.
I got the feeling Helene wanted to go up right-handed, and you just saw Angela go up with the left, and I think she read that exactly right.
Well, you can see Angela actually looking relatively comfortable despite shaking out her arms here. She is actually having a rest on the wall. There you can see the gold silver and bronze medal positions at present in the competition. And you can see the rest and remaining numbers of holds on the route, just something that we're going to show you there. And you can see also as well where we are at present with Angela on the wall, the Austrian climber.
She's having a little rethink and a little bit more chalk before she moves across the right. Angela's definitely one of the more experienced climbers. I love how someone's saying she's still very strong, as if she was like some kind of veteran. She's 26, guys. She's not 40.
She took a while to rest there, so hopefully she's recouped a little bit and stretched out those arms a bit. You can still see her there.
Time.
Still see her shaking it, and then there's a watch on her hand that she checks the time.
She was one of the first climbers to use a watch to handle her own time, manage her own time, as opposed to relying on, at the time, you used to get the warning for the 1 minute. Now they don't do that anymore. But she was the first to have a watch on her as she climbed, as I recall.
Well, this now here is her on the 38th hold. It's a double again, so one hand on it means you've got the 37, two hands means you've got the 38. And here she is with the 38. The 38th hold. There is this bizarre crag hold.
She's having a good look at it before she decides on how she's going to hold it. Swinging over. I'm not sure if that's a smile or a grimace.
Well, she's definitely taking her time as she moves up along the wall here. She's currently now on the 39th hold and pushing up onto this snaking section of features up to this dotted eye shape at the top here. Before we move into some really, really interesting holds as well towards the top of the wall. You can see the tension in her face here as she's pushing up to this part on the wall. She wants this, I think, Sheila. She's really going for this now.
She certainly does. Another 3 climbers after her. Encore 3 grimpeuses après Angie.
And look at her now pushing up onto the 43rd hold. That's now actually the 44th. Onto the dot of the eye. Don't rush things now because she's took her time so far. I know some of you are saying this is slow.
There's still this overhang to go. It's not. She's not out the woods yet. This is a punishing route. Look at the angle.
And it gets harder and harder the further up that she goes. And even though these holds look big, they're actually crimps. She's really having to use a lot of the tips of her fingers there on these big holds, which look like slopers, but have a surprise in store for the climbers that get towards the top of the wall. Some piggyback holds as they move into the purple section.
Is she going to cross over on this? Surely not. A questioner going up on that with the right hand. Yeah,
but what an incredible climb still, though. That was the 48th hold, guys. And now the next question on our competition over on Facebook, on the IFSC page on Facebook. The next question is, right now, who is leading the female final?
Yeah, I think on that last move, she regrets having gone up for that with that arm. Because it left her with no choice but to cross over on an improbable move, really. Look, she really should have been left hand on that left one. Easy to say, obviously, in the comfort of this plastic chair. Only 3 climbers to go. She's the highest. The rest are to come out are still Momoka Oda, Johanna Ernst, and Jain Kim, sorry.
So still got a few to come, but there she is saying hello to the crowd before we wait and turn around with our next set of climbers. I say next set of climber, our next climber. I'm used to the bouldering. It's got into my head today after the incredible final we had.
Absolutely. Daniel has been at this for many long days since the start of this championship. I don't know what he's on, but I'm going to order a pint of it when I get out of here.
I'm on addiction to climbing, I think. That's the thing that's getting me through the days. And it's purely It's purely the excitement when you see somebody pushing harder than anyone else, higher than anyone else, and doing things that look impossible. It just really gets the excitement
You can't
going.
help but get a buzz off it, it's clear, but I'm always blown away by what these athletes are capable. They always surprise me. Donc Momoka, who recently was crowned world champion in the juniors at Singapore, having topped everything that they threw at her. She also
Not the final. Not the final.
no, but she was well ahead of the other girls.
But in the competition,
yeah, that's
yes,
true.
absolutely.
Thank you to keep me in check. She had a fair stab at the bouldering in Munich, just missed out on the final. She came 7th. That was at the end of August. She won at Imst, which obviously was a great confidence booster and kind of gave us the clue that she was really coming on to form at the right time for this championship.
There was a question in the chat there saying, question to both of us, are the climbers allowed to miss a clip if they're going through a difficult section and then come back and clip it again?
No, absolutely not. The rule on that one is that
no C clipping.
I beg your pardon?
No C clipping.
No C clipping. No, the deal is that you cannot have to climb back down to clip on, which is I've just shortened that rule to about 4 words. It's actually a bit more complicated than that, but you cannot skip a clip, and once you've clipped the one after it, say you skip clip 5 and then you clip on clip 6, that's it, you're stuffed. If you realize that you're about to clip on 6 but you've missed 5, as long as you don't have to climb down to clip it on, then you're okay. But there was talk of changing the rule. I'm not sure if it's effective yet, where you can't use your foot to bring the clip up to you, which I've seen some climbers do. Again, I'm sorry, I haven't had the rule book out this past couple of months, but I'm not sure if that has come in yet.
Well, guys, if you are getting a little bit of lag, all you need to do is click refresh and you'll be back with us and watching the live action. Momoka Oda now moving up the wall. She is now on the 20 and 21st hold. Just remember, just click refresh on your screen. That'll be nothing from our end at all. So all you need to do is refresh your comp there and you should be back with us.
No,
so Momoka Oda now.
Jacob, it's not a new rule, mate. That's always been the case. People have been disqualified from competitions for missing out a clip.
Well, welcome if you are joining us. We are here with Momoka Oda, just to give you some kind of understanding about where Momoka Oda is on the standings at the moment. She's currently world ranked 7th, this athlete from Japan. On the World Cup rankings, though, for this year, 2012, she is 2nd. She's just took the World Youth Championship gold for female juniors lead over in Singapore. We were there just recently. If you want to watch the footage of that, get yourself over onto the IFSC's YouTube channel and watch the footage of that over there in Singapore. And just having a look at some of her previous results. Another gold in Imst in the lead this year. In the seniors, remember guys, she's only 18 years old. And that's her popping up to the 30th hold. She took bronze in Chamonix as well earlier this year. She was 5th in Briançon. So frequently seeing this young climber in the finals at only 18 years old.
I know, she's amazing, and I was saying the other day in the semis yesterday, it seems longer somehow, but when you talk to her, she has this tiny little girl's voice in English and in Japanese. Actually, I've overheard her speaking Japanese, and you forget that she absolutely is a killer when she starts to climb. You kind of think, oh, isn't she sweet? And actually, she is a single-minded, very focused climber with a very positive strength-to-weight ratio and much endurance. She's got the power moves, she's got the flexibility. For me, she's a very complete all-round climber.
The other thing to bear in mind as well, she has one of her earlier podium positions, took silver in Vienna in 2010 in the bouldering there, and that was at the age of 16. So just bear that in mind, guys. This athlete is completely dangerous, I think, to any other athlete out there, Momoka Oda, and she's only at the beginning of her career. Again, guys, if you're getting a little bit of lag, just refresh and you'll be back with us. If you are joining us over on YouTube, hello to you, hello world. My name is Daniel Finn and I'm joined by Sheila McCarran. Any questions you might have, pop over onto ifsc.tv and join us in the live chat there. We can have a chat to you.
Someone's asking which of the top climbers are missing in the final. Well, there's been injuries this year, guys. Mina Markovic is out through injury. Sasha Degulian is also out. And in terms of surprises for the finals, apart from that, no, off the top of my head, I can't think of any upsets, unlike the bouldering perhaps. But Momoka's looking really, really good here. I know there's one little 11-year-old out in the audience who must be going completely freaked by now. My daughter is a big fan of Momoka's, as I never tire telling everybody. And I can really understand why, as they say, damn, commentators curse.
Unbelievable.
And look, she's not even down on the floor, she's smiling already, Dan. We were saying that she and Sachi are two of the smiliest climbers on the circuit.
Well, what a shame
Excellent
to
effort.
lose Momoka Oda as she started to move into the final section of the wall. I want to see somebody get up to those sloper-like holds at the very top again, like we saw a few moments
Yeah,
ago.
where Angie went up with the wrong arm, I still believe. And see how Jain Kim goes across that, and Johanna Ernst, obviously. Yeah, this is shaping up to be quite the interesting final.
Still so many more to come, guys. Some really phenomenal climbing about to come our way. So all these routes for the league competition were set by Adam Pustelnik, the Polish head route setter here. And we were chatting to him just a few moments ago. Hopefully you enjoyed having a bit of a chat with him. It's indeed an honour to be joined by the head route setters when they do get a moment of rest from running around and panicking about how the routes are going to work out. They have agreed to come in and have a moment's chat with me. I will also try and have a chat with Jamie, who is the bouldering head route setter earlier on that you saw for the men's final. He's the man that gave us that phenomenal men's final. He's going to come and have a chat with us as well at some point tomorrow, I believe.
So here's your favourite, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely. Johanna Ernst is very, very smiley as well. And it's just the track record with her that I can't believe. The track record of what a climber she is at such an early age. And she's always just overjoyed to be part of any of the climbing World Cups and competitions.
Well, especially as I was saying the other day, she actually had quite a while out due to injury, and she's very happy to be back on the competition circuit, and very, very motivated to win this today. You were saying that you had a chat with her and she felt that this was going to be hers.
Well, she's only 19 years old, guys. She's world ranked 3rd at the moment. On the World Cup rankings for this year, she's 4th. And she was 6th at the end of 2011. She took bronze in Imch this year. She took silver at Briançon this year. She came 9th in Chamonix, so she just missed out on the final in Chamonix. 4th in Barcelona in 2011. 2 golds then in 2011, one at Valence, one at Boulder. But it's worth mentioning her World Championship history. She's already a World Champion, guys. She took the World Championships in Xinghai in China in 2009, and she's also the youngest ever athlete to take the European Championship as well, which she did, I believe, 15 years old. And the track record, I mean, just get yourself onto ifsc-climbing.org. There are too many for me to read out, but go and have a look at Johanna Ernst's history as she is started to move into the seniors for climbing as well. Only 19 years old and already a huge track record behind her. Well, here she is on the wall, and she is now moving up onto the 20-second hold. That's on her left hand now. She's going to start traversing to the left. Going up at this diagonal and then zigzagging back across to the right to meet the overhang on the other side of the wall.
She's looking very fresh. There's no hurried movements here. There doesn't seem to be an awful lot of hesitation at all.
She's another one like Kim Jain that is just a very smooth climber. Just goes from one to the next without the sudden bursts and the rests. Just moves through the climb, trying to enjoy it as she goes. You can see there she's getting a little bit of tension in her arms, and having to take a moment to breathe, which is strange. We don't usually see Johanna resting too much on the wall.
And she's got that big dynamic move to come yet. We saw Helene Janicot and Evgenia Malamid come across her. How's she going to tackle this? She's coming up to it right now. She's looking once, she's looking twice. Chat, je peux juste demander si les commentaires insupportables c'est de notre côté ou dans la salle. Je crains la réponse.
So yes, just one more climber to come after Johanna Ernst, and that is Kim Jain, and she will join us on the wall in just a few moments' time. Still with Johanna though, as she moves up onto the 31st hold. Their left hand there on the 31st hold. We've seen all of our climbers taking a moment here and having to shake out their hands. It's a very interesting and very long route, this one. 52 holds all in all, and it's an 8B plus. Those are the standings at the moment. The one to beat so at the moment is Angela Eiter with 48 plus, which means that no matter what happens from here on in, Angela has medalled here at the World Championships, because we only have Johanna and
Jain
Kim to come in a few moments' time.
That's right. And after that will be the speed climbing final, someone was asking.
Well, let's see some support in the chat room now as we try and help Johanna Ernst. The crowd are definitely trying to do the same out there. She's now onto the 37th, 38th hold, moving on to the 39th, which is this triplet pinch that's going on.
She's having a double take on that one, as we saw other climbers do. It is an unusual formation.
And there is that support come pouring in now from a lot of different guys that are joining us here. I can see that support. It's great to have you with us. As
nice diamond move.
Johanna now up onto the 40th hold. Now remember, this section looks like it's relatively flat, but if you look onto the right-hand side there, you can see it is still inclined, and this as a wall, as an overall wall, has a 30-degree inclination, so it's very, very much leaning out towards the audience. And there's a lot of pressure on the arms there,
she's
building up.
Oh my gosh, she wants this with that determination, and she's off.
And that was her on the 42nd hold, jumping for the 43rd, which I believe gives her a score of 42 plus. And I think that means that she might just have pushed into the medals. I will get that double checked, because that means that Angela Eiter is still unbeaten with 48 plus, which means that now means that also Angela Eiter, for her teammate, now takes at least second.
That's right.
And she must be biting her nails right now on the ground, thinking, what's going on? If Kim Jain comes out and isn't able to match me, I'm going to be world champion in a couple of moments' time. So in the next 8 minutes are probably going to be one of the most tense moments of her life.
That's right, and then there could be a few minutes after that. Say, for example, there's a reclamation, as we call it in French, an appeal on the judge's decision on the scoring, because there's, let's face it, there's Charlotte and Momoka and Johanna, who are very close to each other in terms of where they got on the route. The judge's interpretation may be one thing, there might be an appeal, they might come back on it, so she might have to wait a while to find out if she is or isn't. But as we well know, if there's one person capable of going, and in fact in the competition there's only one person left who would be capable of going higher than Angie, it would be this young lady here.
And here she is joining us at the bottom of the wall with her token bow to the audience as a matter of respect, which I think is just a beautiful thing to see from a climber when they are coming out onto the wall. And the other thing is to remember about Kim Jain, as she moves through this, her concentration and her focus are, I would say, almost unmatched by most other climbers that come out. She just is instantly able to tear herself away from acknowledging the crowd to just being on the wall, completely there,
total
100%.
focus, absolutely. I never tire saying how elegant a climber she is. She looks so slight, and yet look at the muscle definition on her forearms. Got some heavy strapping on that right wrist. First time I've noticed that.
Well, 24 years old, Kim Jain, born in 1988, Goyang City. She's world ranked second at the moment. But she's been as high as first, and that was in 2010 on the World Cup rankings. Sorry, that's on the World Cup rankings. She was first on the World Cup rankings in 2010. She was second in 2011, and she was fifth. Sorry, is currently sitting in fifth this year on the World Cup rankings. Second at Chamonix this year, so silver medal there. She's had a bronze medal in the bouldering over in Chongqing in China this year as well. But looking at her top 12 results, not one of them's below third, guys. And in that amount, there are 6 gold medals. And there are 3 silver medals sitting in there as well.
She had a shaky Briançon though, if you remember. She didn't make the final.
Yes, indeed, I do remember that. You were with me, weren't you?
Because we've got her 12 best results, and they're all so fantastic that Briançon kind of goes off the scale, but she didn't make the final, and that was a shocker.
And that's something that we haven't seen here with these routes.
That's right.
It's a difference as well. These routes have definitely been able to split the climbers in such an interesting manner. I can only just do a tip of the hat to Adam and the route setting team that have been working diligently night and day to reset these routes constantly as we move through our different finals. So we are here now with Kim Jain of Korea.
No, certainly the semi-finals and the men's semi-finals yesterday, the girls yesterday as well, certainly fanned everybody out. There were no ties anywhere, and so far it's holding its promise for this final. It was interesting to have him come in and explain what he had in mind when they did the route.
Well, here she is now, moving around the left-hand side of this bowl. She just put her hand up onto the 26th hold. Remember, there's 52 in total, and the one to beat if she wants to take gold here is 48 plus. There they are for you on your screen right now. You can see exactly where people are sitting. So that means that Johanna Ernst,
Johanna and Oda are equal on height in the final, but if Johanna is before Momoka in the table that you saw, it's on the basis of what they did in the semis.
well, I can tell you that right now. If it's Momoka Oda, sorry, that's why I did go silent for a moment there. So it's Johanna Ernst and Momoka Oda sitting right next to each other on the table at the moment, both with the 42 plus. Well, I can tell you that as it comes down to a count back to the semi-finals, that Johanna Ernst had a 45 plus in the semi-finals, and Momoka Oda had a 42 plus. which means that that would go to Johanna Ernst, the bronze medal, if Kim Jae-in is able to surpass that amount.
That's right.
If not, then it would be a gold medal to Angela Eiter, and then silver to Johanna Ernst, and then Momoka Oda taking bronze. So Momoka Oda is also going to be rather nervous now, I would expect, as Kim Jae-in, a very well-known climber, the beautiful style as well, very elegant as she moves along a wall, seamless. In fact, she always has this as well. She has this way of stretching her hands and her arms that I don't see any of the other climbers doing. Instead of just shaking the arm, she fully extends it and pushes it out. It's a really unusual thing that I don't see many other climbers doing.
She also turns it back and pushes it against her thigh, which is something I've seen Thomas Ballet amongst the men doing, and I haven't noticed a lot of other people that do it just in that way.
Well, if any of you are new to climbing,
exactly what you just mentioned,
and you're not sure exactly what we're talking about there, the whole shaking of the arms, that's to get rid of the lactic acid that's building up in the arms because of having to stay on the wall for such a long amount of time. If you've ever climbed or tried climbing, if you haven't, go and have a go. Those hands can really start to take their toll after you've been on the wall, and your arms can really start to ache. There's that stretch that I'm talking about there. She takes some more chalk now and begins to start onto the 36th hold.
Yacine, la vitesse va suivre tout de suite la fin de cette épreuve de difficulté des femmes. On va enchaîner avec la vitesse et on fera les deux podiums ensemble par la suite. Of course, the French crowd will be disappointed that their climbers are out of the medals in the ladies' competition, but there are French climbers still very much in contention for the speed which is to follow. So the crowd will be staying to support them, I'm sure, which is great that there'll still be an atmosphere in the hall right to the end of this evening's competitions.
Just a reminder to you guys as well, the bouldering final for the men's is already up on YouTube for you. You can get that on IFSC's YouTube channel. It's there, it's waiting. If you missed the bouldering earlier or you just want to recap it because it was just incredible, get yourself over there and look at that now. Let's start getting excited though for what is happening with Kim Jae-in on this point on the wall. That's the 38th and 39th hold.
Spending a lot of time trying to get her hands right on this awkward three-piece suite, which is there. Oula, that was a moment of doubt, I think.
Well, this is it now. If she moves ahead from this point, her hand is on the 42nd hold. If she can match and reach the 43rd hold, there's quite a big distance between the 42nd and 43rd. She's going to have to push up now, but that is the hold, guys, with that hand right there.
She's
and
in
this
second place.
puts her in second place and knocks Momoka Oda out of the medals. Can she push for gold? Can we see Kim Jae-in take gold here and become world champion? And oh my word, that means that Angela Eiter is the world champion for Austria, and Kim Jae-in takes silver, Johanna Ernst takes bronze. What an interesting turnabout.
An upset there. She's kind of looking around. What did I do? Where have I come?
Well, Kim Jae-in
though.
takes a moment to receive some appreciation from the crowd there. Well, here it is. Here is that move. As we have another little look at Kim Jae-in and her climb from just a few moments ago. With the flexibility and the rhythm in her move. That's a very risky move.
For her, absolutely. It's a total commitment move. It's the one that saw off Evgenia Malamid and Helene Janicot earlier on. That one.
And there it is. That's the push onto the 45th hold, which is going to give her a score of 44 plus, which means that our medals, and there is the lady herself, and she is crying. What a beautiful moment there to catch her. That is our world champion. Well, what an amazing turnabout. The defending champion from Arco in 2011 holds on to her title here. The defending champion, that's twice
Well, you have to say she's 26, and I know that's not an old age, but in climbing, that's a number, a packet of years she's been at this. We were looking for her in Briançon. She wasn't there. I manned up and actually asked the Austrian coach, is this a tactic? Is there something wrong? Is she injured? And he said no, she's saving herself for the championships. She's being selective. She doesn't want to do too many, and it's paid off. It was the right gamble, and all fairness to her, look, she wins it by a handful of holds, all puns intended. She didn't get to the top, but this route certainly did the job in separating out the women from the girls. And it's not all about age, it's about experience, it's about sheer wanting it more than the other ones, I think, and she went and got it. You can't take it from her. Congratulations, Angela Eiter.
Well, guys, this here is the results that we promised you a few moments ago. Angela Eiter with a 48 plus score, taking the World Championship, followed by Kim Jain with a 43.5 plus. And also Johanna Ernst there with the 42 plus. Now Momoka Oda also with the 42 plus. But guys, and Johanna Ernst outperformed Momoka Oda. When I say outperformed, just to give you an example about how close that was, coming through from the semi-finals, as we started in reverse order, it literally was Momoka Oda, then Johanna Ernst, and then Kim Jain as our third, second, and first placements. So that's how close it was. And Angela Eiter was in fourth from the semi-finals. So that's how close it was. Apologies for that then in the background.
Raising false hopes of a dance fun fact there.
I wasn't I? I'm getting you all excited. Well, actually, I want to stick with the rankings for a moment there, and appreciate some of the other athletes that are in this were in this final with us as well. Evgenia Malamid there with a 30 plus. Helene Janicot as well, and also Charlotte Durif in the finals here as well. Some
That's
phenomenal
right.
athletes, and also not to forget Matilda Soderlund that joined us as well in the finals. What an amazing final!
It really was, and I'll tell you how amazing it was. I temporarily forgot my disappointment about Helene and Charlotte not doing better, just with the sheer quality of the climbers that came out and got above them. So I can't think of a bigger compliment, quite frankly.
Well, guys, you're already asking, and of course, no, I never get a break. We're moving straight on to the speed finals, so
I can confirm that.
Don't go anywhere right now. The speed finals are coming up very, very shortly. Costa Rica, I can see you're already asking that. Welcome if you are joining us on IFSC's IFSC.tv. Welcome to the World Championships here in Paris, in Bercy, and I am here and joined by Sheila McCarran.
But only temporarily. I'm going to be leaving you because I need to go up to do the medal ceremonies, which will follow the speed. So the lead climbing that we just saw, the podium will be after the speed finals, and the speed final podium will be just after that, which gives us time for any possible appeals or what have you to do with the lead climbing, but I don't think there are going to be any as such.
Will we get to have you coming back and joining us during the speed at all?
During the speed, I doubt it, because you know what, it goes really quickly.
It does. You wouldn't think any otherwise,
would
would you?
indicate. And I need to get upstairs to do the official commentary for the podiums. So guys, I hope to check in with you at some point tomorrow for the men's finals and for the ladies bouldering. And I wish you a very good night's rest.
Well,
So
I have
you're
to
all
thank you, Sheila, by the way. I'm
ready
going to
for
interrupt you
tomorrow.
there to just say thank you, and I hope you guys have appreciated Sheila being with us. Will you come back and join us tomorrow?
I was just saying I'll do my best. As you know, I'm a volunteer here with the organisation and with your good selves. So I'm kind of running around like the proverbial fly with a blue bottom, but I'm loving it, and I'm really honoured to be with you all. So take care, guys. Thanks, Rod. That's all lovely. Thank you for that. And allez les Français pour la vitesse et pour demain, et bonne nuit à tous. Bisous, ciao.
Well, I will. I'll let you have that little moment of French, Sheila. Thank you for being with us. That was Sheila McCarran. We're going to take a moment just to chill out. whilst we wait for the speed climbers to get started, and then we will also be back, remember as well, we're going to be back very shortly with the speed climbing, so don't go anywhere, stay with us, and we will be bringing you that very shortly indeed. The commentator, the main MC in the arena with these 9,000 spectators still watching here, the time now is 10 to 11 and we are still here going strong, guys. 10 to 11, that's Central European time. Well, whilst we are waiting, before I just sign off for a little bit of a moment, let's do the full cheesy thing of having a dance fun fact. How about that? Let's have a dance fun fact. Did you like the jingle? Well, 34% of the French can speak English, and between 6 to 11 million Americans speak French. Now, maybe that's something to do with the Canadians coming down as well into America. I can tell you that Sean McCall, one of the climbers here, is doing a lot of the different disciplines. Speaks fluent French. He is from Canada. But there you are, there's a dance fun fact to leave you with for a moment, and I'll come back in just a few moments' time to go through on the speed. See you shortly, guys. Well, we're just going to show you this, guys, actually. So let's have a little watch at the Bercy teaser, just to give you some inspiration.
Coming up only to hold you under, and coming up only to show you wrong, and to know you is hard, and we wonder. Ooh.
Today, Top 30 is the only company in the world able to design, produce, set up and manage a top-level competition. Everything within the same company, everything with the trustworthiness and professionalism that an official competition requires. Everything Top 30. Top 30. The heart of climbing.
Alors messieurs, là, comme je vous expliquer au niveau du tableau que vous allez voir, c'est comme dans toutes les compétitions avec le tableau en phase finale en cas de système. La chose qui est difficile, c'est qu'on va retrouver la meilleure des qualifications, la plus rapide qui sera opposée à la 16e. Ensuite, ça fera la deuxième contre la 15e et ainsi de suite. Donc évidemment, il y a toujours la meilleure et la moins bonne qui se retrouvent affronter pour arriver à la fin du circuit des cas au système et des finales avec les meilleurs qui normalement devraient tomber les unes contre les autres. On a de la chance, le record du monde est présent avec nous. Il faut savoir que le record du monde a été battu cet été à Chamonix. La première qui a tombé le record du monde, c'est Anouk Jobert. Elle a gardé exactement 5 minutes. Il lui a été repris tout de suite et il est tombé dernièrement à 8 secondes 53 pour les filles. Alors là, c'est calme aussi avec le DJ. On va attendre que l'impeuse soit sous le portique d'entrée. Et d'entrée de jeu, on accueillera la première, ça sera la record woman du monde avec Madame 853 qui nous arrive de Russie. Et dans ce mur, la petite nouveauté pour Paris, merci championnat du monde, dans ce mur on a mis des micros. Et de temps en temps pour écouter les impacts de nos grimpeurs et de nos grimpeuses ce soir. Les impacts des pieds, la rapidité. Il faut savoir quand même que sur une voie aussi longue que celle-là, de temps en temps, si vous avez la chance de regarder les vidéos sur internet ou si vous mettez de côté, vous verrez que les athlètes ne sont plus du tout en contact avec le mur, on les voit faire des sauts de jaguar. C'est impressionnant, ça sera vraiment différent. La voix est assimilée dans leur tête maintenant, les champions sont encore enchaînés très vite les mouvements. Applaudissements pour la première des qualifications, la russe. Evgenia Malamid, encore woman du monde. Elle est opposée à cette rivalité vice-championne du monde. Jeune, mademoiselle Eiter, Alexandra, l'Autrichienne.
Well, welcome guys. We're just about to get started with our first two athletes. On the left-hand side now, you're looking at Yulia Levochkina. Keep an eye on this athlete. Next to her, Alexandra Elmer of Austria, Yulia Levochkina of Russia. Yulia Levochkina, the athlete that broke the world record over in Chamonix 3 times and ended up in 4th place. Unbelievable there. So welcome if you are joining us. I'm back now. Sheila has left us. Welcome to the World Championships, and this the speed final for women. 16 athletes in the finals. As we go through to the final, I will explain as we go along. Here we are now. Number 36 and number 10. Here we are, Julia Levochkina powering up the wall now. It's looking like Alexandra Elmer's trying to pull back, but no, it's Levochkina again. She is the one that's breaking these world records, and there it was. Yulia Levochkina moves forward into the next final. So this is how it works, guys. As they climb this route, they race against each other to move forward into the next stage of the final. So 16 athletes in 8 heats in the quarter final, we call this one. The quarter final. And Yulia Levochkina moving forward there. as we would expect, this athlete is on top of her game. Next two athletes, number 50 and number 16. That's Alina Gaidamakina and Anna Ojaba of France. So a French athlete coming out. You can hear the crowd showing some support there. Asking about the grading of this route. It's actually a 6A. It's a standard route, and this is a standard wall as well. And it is, of course, as fast as you can get up there. Here we are. Alina on the left, Anu on the right. And they are away. You can see the height now, you can see the speed that they're moving at. Anu pushing into the lead, but Gaidamakina not to be forgotten about here. She's taking it back, and it's her, Alina Gaidamakina. Manages to pull it back. It looked like Anok Jawa was going to make that there, and suddenly she powered ahead. Alina Gaidamakina now moving forward into the next final, which will be the quarter final, which means that she'll be up against Yulia Levochkina of Russia, and that is going to be an interesting one. It's Gaidamakina against her teammate Levochkina. Our next two athletes to come out are another Russian athlete, number 19 against number 44, and that is Ksenia Polakina of Russia, number 19, and Stephanie Pichler of Austria. So another Russian and another Austrian against each other. And brace yourself, because it's only going to get faster as we move through towards the finals here. 16 athletes altogether, and this is our third heat. So currently looking at Polakina on the left-hand side and Pichler on the right. Two Ps to kick us off. Let's see how they get on here. They are away, and Pichler and Polakina neck and neck at the moment as they move up the wall. It's looking like it's going to be Polakina. She's pulling ahead here. She's very far ahead here. Can she pull it back? No. That is it. It is to her, and it's Ksenia Polakina. So we're currently looking at three Russians now moving forward into the next stage of the finals. It is all about speed, guys, and there is that crowd. So three Russians now moving ahead. Our next two athletes to come out are two Polish athletes, number 33 and number 41. And that is Aleksandra Rudzinska of Poland and Monika Prokopiuk. So it's Prokopiuk against Rudzinska. Alexandra and Monika. Alexandra on the left and Monika on the right. You can see the athletes getting themselves into the right frame of mind as they turn around and come forward to meet the wall. And here we go, Alexandra against Monika. You can see the crowd has grown silent now to allow the athletes to focus. A false start there, so our athletes will have to come back and get ready to start again. Very quick, the finals in speed climbing, no pun intended. And they're away. They pause then to allow the clocks to come through, because 2 false starts can get you disqualified, actually. And here they are. They're still neck and neck moving up the wall. Monika and Alexandra. It's going to be Alexandra. What a shame that the two Polish athletes were drawn together, which allows only one of them to move forward. And you can see the relief on Alexandra Rudzinska's face there. So Rudzinska moves forward into the next stage of the finals. Our first athlete who is not Russian to move forward. And our next two athletes getting ready to come out. It's Yulia Kaplina, number 15 of Russia, number 15 against number 13, Margot Heitz of France. So another French athlete out now in the speed female finals. Another speed athlete, another French athlete out. Let's see if they can move forward into the next stage of finals. We often see the Russians dominate in this event. It definitely happened over in Singapore just recently. Well, there is Yulia Kaplina, and there is Margot Heitz just next to her as well. I told you they were going to be fast. Well, here they are. Margot and Yulia. Yulia on the left, Margot on the right. Another false start. This just goes to show the tension that these athletes are under, the strain in front of this huge crowd here. They know they are live to the world. They know you guys are watching them. And the pressure is definitely on to excel here. It all comes down to roughly 8 seconds for the women's, 8 seconds, roughly 6 for the men. Here we are with our next start. Looking for the green light. They are away, Julia and Margot, and it looks like Margot there. No, Margot has stumbled for a second. It's going to be Julia Kaplina and another Russian moving forward into the next stage of the finals. There it is, Julia Kaplina. Margot Heights finishing up there as well. The French crowd are quite quiet here now. They're going to want to see some of their athletes moving forward into the finals. It'd be great to see another French athlete moving forward into the finals. We had our first French gold medal earlier today in the paraclimbing. So the two routes, yes, they are identical, the two routes, and these climbers are used to climbing on these routes. Our next two athletes then coming out now are going to be number 32 and number 12. Number 32 and number 12, that is Maria Krasavina and Eiter Ropek. I'm afraid that the coverage is from French TV, so there are no ways of us showing you the times. Obviously, they are professional cameramen, but they're not always used to covering the climbing, so unfortunately we can't grab the times for you. But you can see here, it is a race, so you can see here who is moving forward. We are now with number 32 and number 12, Maria Krasavina and Eiter Ropek. So Ropek on the right-hand side, and Krasavina on the left-hand side. Another false start. This goes to show how much pressure is on these athletes, and I can tell you that these routes are actually very hard to climb. I had a go on the speed wall that was down on the on Solosa Beach at the World Youth Championships very recently, and well, it was terrible. Let's just leave it at that. So here we are with Maria Krasavina and Eiter Ropek. They are away, so let's see what's happening here. We're going to get Ropek moving up at the same time, neck and neck. Krasavina stumbles there. It's going to be the Polish athlete if she can hold on to it here. Krasavina desperately trying to pull it back. I mean, you can see the relief on Eiter Ropek's face there. The pressure momentarily off. Well, actually, it could be on here. It could be on for this Polish athlete, as she knows now that she's going to be moving forward into the next final. Guys, so it's still there. Well, our next two athletes are coming out, and it looks like another French athlete. It's Esther Bruckner, number 37 against number 22. 37 against 22, and that is Yang Wang of China, and there she is there. Number 32 against, number 37, number 22. 37 against 22. They get ready to go. There we are away, and it's looking like Bruckner is pushing into the lead here. The crowd are going wild for a French athlete moving into the finals, and it's going to be her all the way. What a lead she had there. She knows she's got it as well, and unfortunately Yang Wang is now not going to be moving forward onto the next stage of the final. So we are taking those 16 athletes and we're moving them down to just 8. Then that 8 becomes 4. Then that 4 gets split again, and we have our two finals, our two major finals, the small final and the main final. The small final to decide who's in 3rd or 4th, and the main final 1st and 2nd. So next and last athletes out now, number 7 against number 35. Number 7 against number 35, and that is Natalia Titova of Russia and Klaudia Bukcek of Poland. Okay, so Natalia on the left and Klaudia on the right. Are there any support? I can already see it coming in from Piotrek for the Polish athletes. Well, here we go. Silence in the auditorium, concentrated eyes on the green light there, waiting, and Klaudia actually moves away from the wall. You can see the pressure on these athletes now. Natalia Titova definitely feeling the strain there, and Klaudia running through as quickly as she can. And that is a false start. I apologise if we have any little fluffs, as we would say in the stream. It's me and Mike, my producer here, and also Johnny, our technician. There they are. They had to pause there. They waited for it, and that is Klaudia gone. So Natalia Titova just has to finish this one now. She's powering up this wall desperately, and there it is. The Russian athlete moves through into the next final. As I was saying just a few moments ago, while we have this brief break, what a shame for Poland there. Klaudia just slipping as she started to start on the wall. Well, unfortunately, Jakob, we have lost Klaudia. She slipped off the wall at the start of that climb. So as I was saying, yeah, there are just the three of us manning the show here for you guys now. There's me on commentary, Mike just next to me as well, running the show. And we both actually had a go on the wall down in Singapore, as I was saying a few moments ago. And it is a 6A difficulty route, and it is hard. That's all I can say. These athletes managed to top that wall in a roughly 8 seconds for the women, and 6.26 seconds is the record for the men's. I can tell you now that we kind of, I would say we gave up, really. We gave up on the wall after about 4 minutes of trying to climb. Mike shaking his head saying it was never 4 minutes, but it was quite possibly the slowest speed climb ever recorded. So we now know who our athletes are going to be moving into the next one. And I can tell you now that the first draw in the next set of finals is going to be number 36 against number 50. The two Russian teammates, Yulia Levochkina and Alina Gedemakina. Well, those numbers again, it's number 36 against number 50, Yulia Levochkina, who you can see there, setting the world records, and just next to her, her teammate, who is Alina Gedemakina. I'm sorry if I did miss a question then, just in the chat room. Juiced. Don't always manage to watch both things at once, but we are here now with Yulia Levochkina and Alina Gedemakina. Look at the concentration on their faces. Yulia Levochkina powering away here. Is she going to be able to break this record and push ahead of her teammate? She is the faster one, and there it is, proving it there. Gedemakina tried to put it back. That was close. That was really close, but Levochkina moves forward. She's going to be hungry here after the problems that she ran into in Chamonix. She wants to be able to end up as a world champion. Somebody saying there, Jacob Lloyd in the chat room, hey Mike, 6A is not that hard. It's the average grade climbed by British weekend climbers on their first go outdoors. Guys, we are well aware of that. But both of us just starting to push back into climbing. Both of us used to climb when we were younger. We follow all of these World Cups. If you want to join us as we move through the year, do come and join us on ifsc.tv, where we cover all of these incredible events throughout the year. We've been on the World Cup series all the way through this year, and now we are here with the World Championships. So here we are with our next finalists, and that will be Kensia Polokina, number 19 against number 33, and that is Ksenia Polokina against Alexandra Rudzinska, Polish athlete on the right-hand side. And that was a green light, but no start from either of them, and a strange reaction from the crowd. Both athletes failing to start, even though the green light went and they didn't start beforehand, so it wasn't technically a false start, it was a no start. They are away, and they waited for that one, didn't they? But it's looking like Ksenia is going to pull ahead here. Alexandra too far on the wall now, I think, to try and pull this back. It is Polokina as she now tops out on the wall. Alexandra Rudzinska, unfortunately, not progressing onto the next stage. So we are now seeing a Russian-dominated field here. Well, our next two athletes are now out and joining us here. Here they are, Yulia Kaplina and Eiter Ropek, another Russian and Poland draw. They are away, a good start this time then. They are neck and neck as they move up the wall here. It looks like Yulia's pushing ahead. No, still neck and neck, and Ropek could be pulling this back. It's going to be close. It was Yulia Kaplina, I think, by a split second. That is going to be very, very close, but it looks like Yulia Kaplina is going to be moving forward now. And now our French athlete Esther Bruckner against Natalia Titova, and the crowd know it, she knows it as well. Look at the pressure these athletes are under right now as we wait to see what's going to happen here. A lot of support pouring in from the some of the French crowd joining us now in the chat room. Hello to you, and make sure that you send in your support. That is Another false start for Natalia Titova. Now, we don't usually see this many false starts, I can tell you that now. And it's obviously because this is the championship, guys. There's a lot of pressure on these athletes right now. There they are, they waited for a moment there, but all they have to do is top ahead of each other. But Bruckner, can she pull this back? She stumbled then. What's going to happen here with Titova? It's looking like it's a stumble from Titova. But she manages to hold on at the very last, and Esther Bruckner now is going to be feeling very, very disappointed indeed. And Titova moves forward to make this a completely Russian-dominated final. A question there from Alex123 saying, okay, next question, guys. Why does time matter? Isn't it a direct competition between the two climbers? It absolutely is, but there is also that pride thing going on there, and you want to be as quick as you possibly can. You want to push the world record, and remember that this is an official wall, which means that they are able to top the world record and have it for themselves. Yulia Levoshkina currently holding that world record, and she's here now as we move into the final set of finals, well, the penultimate set of finals, to decide who our medalists are going to be. So it's going to be Levoshkina coming out first. And let's see what's happening. Unfortunately, Drytula, we have to apologise about the times. When we cover these events out in the field and we have our cameras with us, we of course give you the times that they're climbing. We are currently taking our feed from French TV station, actually. So we're unable to control the cameras. They're out of our hands. But you will be able to find the results very, very shortly after this event has finished. The times as well. They'll be available on ifsc-climbing.org. So get on there and you'll be able to find it. There is Yulia. Now this is it. This is where it comes down to. She has the potential here to finish in 4th, which is exactly what happened to her in Chamonix. She has the potential here to make up for what happened in Chamonix and take the gold. Yes, thank you, Paul, for answering that question there. Roughly 5 degrees of overhang there. So it is overhanging, but it's not too drastic. It can make quite a difference, I can tell you that now. You definitely feel it when you're on the wall. Well, I can tell you that this final is not actually the penultimate final. We've still got quite a few more to come. What will happen now is that these 2 first athletes will battle it out for a place to decide which one of the 2 of them is going to be going to the battle for gold and silver. So each of these 2 sets, 4 athletes, a 2 pairing and a 2 pairing, whoever wins out of those ones has a chance of taking either silver or gold. The 2 losers of that run then move over into the small final, and we will see that first to decide who takes bronze, and then we'll be back again to be able to see that. There are the times there for you. And those are the ones that are through into this round. Look at that completely Russian-dominated field there. Polakina, Levochkina, Kaplina, and Titova. A lot of Inas and Overs. Inas and Overs taking us through into the final. So we are here with Yulia Levashkina, number 36 against Polakina, number 19. 36 against 19. Ksenia Polakina against Yulia Levashkina. Who do we think's going to win? Do we think it will be a Russian athlete? Well, here we are. No start from either athlete there, but they are refusing to move away from the starting positions. Whether they are moving away from the starting positions. Nobody gave them the cry of ready. They just went straight in for the beep there. Another interesting response from the crowd. Well, here we go again for another attempt. And a false start. As if the pressure weren't enough. It now really is on these athletes to be able to make it here. They're away now. They pause for a moment, but here they go. Yulia Levashkina powering ahead. Ksenia Polakina trying to hold on, but Yulia is really going for this one now. She wants it, she gets it, and that means that she is in for a chance of either the gold or silver medal position. She's made up for Chamonix, and you can see the joy on her face there as Levashkina moves forward into the higher final to try and attempt to get that gold. So guys, that was the first of our two finals leading into the final set of finals. I know it can get very confusing. We took 16 athletes. We broke them down to 8. That 8 then to 4, and these athletes now are part of that 4, which means that Yulia Levashkina has just beaten Polakina, which means that Polakina now moves into a battle for the bronze medal. And we are here now with 15, and Yulia Kaplina against Titova, which is number 7. So Yulia Kaplina against Natalia Titova. This is for that person that is going to be competing against Yulia Levashkina for the gold and silver place. Another false start, which marks 3 or 4 for Natalia Titova now this evening. See a lot of you saying about the new world record as well set there by Yulia Levashkina. Here we are, they are away now. A good start this time. Natalia wants this, but Kaplina is now pushing ahead. She is about head and shoulders ahead now, and it's going to be her. It is. It's Kaplina through, which means that Natalia Titova has to settle for the small final. And Kaplina now moves forward into the grand final here to battle it out with Levashkina, her teammate, to decide who is going to be the champion for speed climbing 2012 here in Bercy in Paris. Welcome if you are joining us. My name is Daniel Finn. I've been with you all day, and we are here now at our last final of the day. 6 separate events we have been bringing you, covering them today. When you count the awards ceremonies as well, the semi-finals early this morning, the finals again for this evening as well. So you've had you have had a full day of coverage. Yeah, and we also have about 3 or 4 hours work to do after this to make sure we're ready for tomorrow, and also to get some editing done, so you guys get to see some other things. It's nice to see the camaraderie between the teammates there, as Titova accepts that she is now going to be in the small final. And so now we wait for Levashkina and Kaplina to come back out. But first, we will be back with our small final, and this is for the bronze medal position. So, guys, it's Polakina versus Titova. And I have to say, Titova has a very interesting style. Well, there you see that she set a higher time there of 8.98. Let's see what you guys are thinking about who is going to be taking it here. Who is going to be taking the bronze medal, Natalia or Ksenia? Who do we think? Oh, thank you, Jacob. I can let me know whether that's Jacob or Jakob, because I'm so used to saying Jakobs as Schubert. But there's some kind words there in the chat room. It's been great being with you guys all day today. Remember, you can watch any of the coverage we bring to you. You can find it on IFSC's YouTube channel. A question as well here saying from Gandhi, how do they belay in speed? They belay as quickly as they possibly can to allow the athletes at the top. The rope is attached at the top of the wall, and it's basically just a safety precaution, because these athletes are holding themselves on the wall. It may look like they're being pulled up by their belayer, but they're not. And the other thing is that they have the two belayers, as you can see there in speed. One that's working the actual clamp there, and the other one that's helping them feed it through as quickly as possible, because that is how fast they go. And as I said, it might seem like they're being pulled up the wall. They're not being pulled up the wall at all. They're doing it all themselves. Yes, Reza, I do believe that is a new world record for the women's with 8.48, and that is Evgenia, who just keeps breaking her own record. Well, why not? Well, we are here now with our new final. This, of course, being the final, which is the small final. I hope that's not too confusing for you in the chat room. This is the small final. It's Polakina, number 19 against number 7. Against Titova. And this is for the bronze medal, guys. And Titova just keeping up the tradition there of making sure we have as many false starts as possible. Here we are away. Polakina on the left, Titova on the right. Titova had a little bit of a fumble there, but she's still holding on. Guys, this is going to be very, very close. Polakina, it looks, could it be? I could not possibly call that. That looked like they landed it on the exact same moment. Unfortunately, I don't have a clock to be able to tell you. I think it was Polakina, but it might have even been Titova at the end. That was unbelievably close. It's looking like it's Titova. I believe Titova now takes the bronze. Well, here it is in replay. Let's see if we can get a better look at this, because that was just so close. I think it was Titova just at the end there. They both popped up onto that final hold at the very last moment there. But I believe it was Titova. 9.22 seconds for Titova, and 24. There you are. So that is 2/100ths of a second difference. 9.22 against 9.24. So sorry, my eyes aren't exactly that good. I can't exactly tell. So that means that Titova takes the bronze medal. And our last final, guys. Now, who could say who is going to take this one? Evgenia against Kaplina. Now, personally, I'd have to say I think my money is definitely on Evgenia. I really hope that she can keep her focus and her calm. and keep her head on her shoulders here and not stumble, because she's capable of such a good time. So Levotchkina is on the left-hand side. We are away. It's Levotchkina against Kaplina. Levotchkina is powering ahead. Kaplina trying to hold it. Do not make a mistake, Levotchkina. You can do this. Kaplina has gone. It is Yulia Levotchkina getting exactly what she deserves, which is the gold medal and the World Championship title. She's broken her own record so many times. Yulia Levotchkina, she's broken it again and again and again. She keeps resetting the world record. I believe that was a world record again then, but I will get that checked with you. I think that was what her reaction was as she was coming down on the wall there. Yulia Levotchkina there takes the gold medal place, and Yulia Kaplina can't be upset there at all. As you can see, she's not in the background, still smiling with silver. So she is the vice champion with silver medal. Look at Levotchkina fly up this wall. Guys, this is 15 meters of wall in, yes, it was a new record, I thought it was, 8.37 seconds. 8.37 seconds. What an incredible performance there from Yulia Levotchkina, and she deserves that title. And there she is, and unfortunately Yulia Kaplina fell, but I have to say it was already Levotchkina, I think, at the point that we lost Kaplina on the wall. Levotchkina was so determined to take that title there, and she was already a head and shoulders ahead of Yulia Kaplina at the point that Kaplina fell. But there you are, deserving of it. Yulia Levotchkina breaks her own world record yet again. Tell me, guys in the chat room, whether you think you could run 15 meters in that time. A good thing for you to try as well, if you think you could run it. I think you probably could run it. But if you want to try what this is actually like, why not try getting a couple of your friends together and having a competition yourself? You don't need a wall. Start crawling. Get down onto your hands and knees, mark off 16 meters, and see if you can crawl 16 meters in 8.37 seconds. If you can, let me know. I want to know. And send us a video. Send it in to 24/7's Facebook page. Come onto there and give us a like. We are the crew that bring you all this coverage at IFSC.tv. Also, get yourself over onto IFSC's Twitter as well. And also do pop over and say hello to myself on Twitter as well. You can find me there at @Daniel Finn, and that is my name. I've been with you all the way through today since 10 o'clock Central European time. The time here now is actually 20 to 12, and we have been non-stop streaming pretty much all day here. So this has been a long one, but it's been so enjoyable. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us. Yes, do not worry, there will be an awards ceremony to follow. So in a few moments' time, we will have the lead medal ceremony for the women and the speed one for the women as well down here. So I'm going to hand you over to a little bit of footage and some inspirational music at the stadium here at Bercy. And I'll see you a little bit later. I will pop down and say hello to you, well, good night to you a little bit later on as well after we finish at the awards ceremony. So I'll see you in a little while. Thank you for being with us, guys.
Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez accueillir le podium des championnats du monde
Tu fais quoi, Loïs?
dans la catégorie escalade de difficulté dames. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2012 World Championship medal winners in the ladies lead climbing competition. Mesdames et messieurs, pour remettre les médailles, Monsieur Helmut Knaber, vice-président de l'IFSC, et Monsieur Jean-Michel Brun, vice-président du Comité national olympique français, vice-président. Excusez-moi. To present the medals, Mr. Helmut Knaber, vice president of the IFSC, and Jean-Michel Brun, vice president of the French National Olympic Committee. La médaille de bronze représentant l'Autriche, the bronze medal position representing Austria, Johanna Ernst. La médaille d'argent représentant la Corée, in silver medal position representing Korea, Jain Kim. La médaille d'or et championne du monde d'escalade 2012 représentant l'Autriche. The gold medal and 2012 World Climbing Champion representing Austria, Angela Eiter.
No le cojo fresita. Y no tiene sombrero, tú eres tonto. ¿Cómo te aquí con sombrero si no lo tienes? Me lo quitaste un rato. ¿Dónde está? Lo dejé en la barra. Tú no puedes decir, me quité el sombrero.
Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez accueillir le podium des championnats du monde 2012 d'escalade de vitesse dames. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2012 World Championship medal winners in the ladies speed climbing competition. Mesdames et messieurs, pour remettre les médailles, Monsieur Alexander Piratinsky, vice-président de la Fédération internationale d'escalade, et Monsieur Jacques Ray, administrateur du Comité national olympique français. To present the medals, Mr. Alexander Piratinsky of the IFSC and Jacques Ray, administrator of the French National Olympic Committee. La médaille de bronze représentant la Russie. In bronze medal position representing Russia, Natalia Titova. La médaille d'or et championne du monde d'escalade 2012 représentant la Russie. The gold medal and 2012 World Climbing Champion representing Russia, Yulia Evoshkina.
Well, guys, thank you for being with us throughout the day. There they are, our medalists, our podium position athletes for the female lead competition here, the lead now world champions, and also in the speed category as well. There they were just on the podium. They're just behind me, just disappeared from behind me, getting ready, I'm sure, to celebrate the day's efforts. Well, thank you for being with us throughout the day. Please come back and join us tomorrow. We start things off here around 1 o'clock. We'll probably be live just a little bit before then, at about 10 to 1 Central European time. That's 1 p.m. Then we'll go through starting things off with the female bouldering final, and if the bouldering final is going to be anything like the male's bouldering final today, it's definitely not one to miss, and I'm sure it's going to be just as entertaining and just as surprising as the men's final was today. And I'll be chatting to the head route setter as well also tomorrow about the problems that we're going to be facing there in the final. Then we'll have a little bit of a break at about 3:15. After the awards ceremony, after the paraclimbing final as well. Paraclimbing final, the third and final paraclimbing final. Of course, the times can change. They are all subject to change if we run over. So I'll keep you updated on that throughout the day. So join us on 24/7's Twitter page, and also keep an eye on IFSC's Twitter page as well for updates as we move throughout the day. Have a break of about half an hour then, from 3:15, and we'll be back with you at 3:45 Central European time for our next set of finals to finish things up here at Bercy. What an incredible World Championships this has already been. Thank you for being with us, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, as we move through and into the final day here at Bercy. Thank you for being with us. I've been Daniel Finn, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys.
Today, Top 30 is the only company in the world able to design, produce, set up and manage a top-level competition. Everything within the same company. Everything with the trustworthiness and professionalism that an official competition requires. Everything Top 30. Top 30.